So this is chapter 7. This is our second type of transformation. This is going to be called a translation. Now, transformation, if you remember, any movement of a geometric figure. Now we're going to get more specific and we're going to talk about the types of geometric movements. So the first one is going to be a reflection. Remember that a reflection is when you flip a figure over the line of symmetry. Now a translation is when you do something a little bit different. You're going to slide a figure. So we're just going to slide a figure. So watch how it goes. The first thing it asks us to do is it says graph the image. So remember the pre-image is what's drawn. The image is what we're going to have. So graph the image of the figure using the transformation given. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to translate it 1 unit to the left. So we go here for x and we write x prime 1 unit to the left. We go to g and translate it 1 unit to the left, and that gives us g prime. We go to q, 1 unit to the left, q prime. We go to u, 1 unit to the left, and we connect it. Now ask yourself, if you move the entire figure 1 unit to the left, did you change its shape? Or should it look exactly the same? Hopefully you came up with that it's exactly the same figure, we just moved it to the left 1 unit. Okay, let's look at number 2. Translate 1 unit to the right and down 2 units. So we're going to take this and we're going to go 1 unit to the right and down 2 units. 1, 2. That's where our new t prime is. So we're just sliding it across and down. Now E, 1 unit to the right and down 2 units. There's E prime. I, 1 unit to the right and down 2 units. Okay, we're going to connect it. And it's the same shape, it just moved over a little bit. Now this is the easiest one to start to see something on. What you'll notice is that if I were to draw a dotted line from E and then to T and then to I, what you'll notice is if we were to use the scale or the slope, we go down 2 and over 1, down 2, over 1, down 2 and over 1. And that is what we have here. 2 units down and 1 unit to the right. So it's a real quick way to check what you're doing, and it's an introduction to actually vectors. That's where we're going to go in the future. So let's go ahead and let's do number 3. Go ahead and why don't you do that one? Translate it 3 units to the right, and then for number 4, translate it 1 unit to the right and 2 units down. Go ahead and do that. Okay, so take a look and see what you have. This is a translation 3 units to the right. This is a translation 1 unit to the right and 2 units down. Same figure. And if you were to make those little dotted lines, you can see that each dotted line is going exactly the same amount. If you were to compare the slopes on them, they would be exactly the same. It almost looks like a 3D figure. Now what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to make the rule for this one. So just like before, it's got a letter that represents that it's a translation. So we're going to do a capital T. Now this is the thing that's a little bit different. There's going to be the XY, and it's going to get a little bit different there. So let's look up here for just a second. 1 unit to the left. So start at the origin and look at the left. When you go to the left, those are your negative x's. So we're going to take our x and we're going to take 1 away from it. So our y, we didn't do anything to. It didn't go up or down. So we're going to write y plus 0 or just y. So how does this work? So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here and we take this and we do x, whatever x value was, we write x minus 1. You're going to move it one place. And your y value you don't do anything to. So you just write y here. Down here, this tells you what the translation is. So to x, we moved it -1, comma. To y, we moved it 0 spaces. So let's look at this one. Capital T, this is where our translation will go. This will be our xy. And then we're going to do something to x and y because we're sliding it. So let's go to the top. Start at the origin, and it says 1 unit to the right. So if you go to the right, you're going on which axis? The x, and you're adding 1 because it's the positive direction. So x plus 1. Now you go to the origin, 2 units down. So I go down 2 units. That's the y, and I subtract 2. So I'm going to go over here to the x, I add 1. To the y, I subtract 2. So what am I doing to x? I'm adding 1, comma, and I'm subtracting 2. Okay, if you're feeling like you can try it, I'd try it for number 3. Okay, so we're going to write any x, y. We're going to come up here and it says 3 units to the right. I go to the origin. 1, 2, 3 is going in the x direction, plus 3. There is no y, so that's like saying y plus 0. So x plus 3, comma, and I'm just going to write y. So that means I do 3 to the x and 0 to the y. Okay, pause if you want to try number 4. Okay, for any x, y, I start at the origin. I go 1 unit right. So that means x plus 1. And 2 units down. So that's y minus 2. X plus 1 and y minus 2. So here I'm going to do 1 comma -2. Okay, flip. So for number 5, what we're going to have to do is it says translate this 5 units up, but I don't have it written out yet. So I need to go ahead and plot that, and then I'm going to translate it 5 units up. So we're going to plot -3, -4. That's my pre-image. M is -1, -1. Oops, no prime there. And L is -2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a little hard to see on my graph. I hope yours is a little bit better. Okay, now I'm going to connect all those, and I have a little triangle. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move that up 5 units. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you should be fully on your own by this point. 5, feeling like you're understanding it a little bit better. And noticing that when you've reflected it, when you translated it, you should have the exact same image. It's just slid to a new location. Now what I'd like you to do is go ahead and try number 6, see how you do. I'll show you the answer. And then down here for number 1, 2, and 3, I'd like you to write out the translation rule. So take a look and see if you can write the rules for those 3, and then I'll let you check your answers, and then you can start your homework. So for number 6, it kind of got a little bit awkward because I had to write that R prime right next to the D and F prime next to the L. I just wrote it in a different location, but that really was on top of each other. All right, I hope you got the same answer. Now let's go down and look at 1, 2, and 3. Now the one thing about 1, 2, and 3 is that you have to start by going over from C up to C prime. So you have to say to yourself, I'm going right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is in the positive direction, and that's the x-axis. So that right there from here to there is going to be x plus 5. And then up is going to be y plus 2. So that's where that comes from. 5, 2. So again, over here, you go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's your x, that's your y plus 4 because I went up first. And then I did x plus 4 again. So I have to get from the pre-image to the image, and I think it's very similar to slope. You're thinking about the same things. Now on 3, it's a little different because your pre-image is here, so we have to go, I'm actually going to use it from the t. I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3 spaces, so it's y minus 3 there, and I have to go over 2 spaces, and that's in the negative direction too, so x minus 2. That's where that comes from. That describes the translation. Okay, you're ready for your homework.